Do a little deep dive, Netflix and sports shows. I saw this come up. It's the new documentary coming out with the 2024 Red Sox. I think it's called The Clubhouse. And I was like, why does Netflix think we care about the 2024 Red Sox? It's, this new documentary style, not new, right? But it showcases the Red Sox on All Access. And I get it, right? Content is king. But are we getting content? Are we just getting content for the sake of it? Are we getting stuff that we really care about as sports fans, right? And I think Netflix is in kind of this weird place that trying to go after it. I found two articles that actually have done a little bit of a deep dive here into the content that Netflix has created. The first is Sports is a Complicated Beast, and Netflix hasn't figured it out yet. And the second is what sports scripted titles and documentaries work on Netflix and what doesn't. What's on Netflix. There's a little dash in there. So I'll put this on our blog just so you can kind of read these articles and get a little bit more information. But what I loved out of this is they have this graph here that shows the success of shows, especially within a 14-day attribution window. And what's very clear is that one, the NFL does incredibly well. Obviously, they've gone into live content with the NFL, and they've had scripted or documentary kind of series with the quarterback, which did pretty well. Did well within the U.S., not as well kind of globally, right? And this deep dive came out before the NBA show, so there's no data there. But what is definitely very, again, as you're looking at the graph here, and it's a little interesting, just like the viewership and again, how long it takes people to kind of get to the viewership in terms of days here. But I mean, you can really see, right, leagues and teams have done incredibly poorly, right? Breakpoint for tennis, which was canceled after its first two parts, Tour de France Unchained for cycling, NASCAR Full Speed, Full Swing for golf, Sprint for athletics, Six Nations, Full Contact for rugby, right, have all not done incredibly well here, right, in terms of the viewership and how long it takes for people to kind of find these titles and stream it for a long period of time. And so it kind of just goes to this idea, right? Does Netflix understand sports fans? For me, and I've said this before, right? I need a story. I need to have a story that I've either cared about in the past or something that's got like an interesting subject, right? Like, excuse me, let's take Hard Knocks, which is a known entity. And even as they look to try to expand their ecosystem with their title, The Offseason, which covered the Giants, which was a little interesting just because it had the idea that the Giants were going to give away Saquon Barkley for nothing. And we saw what Saquon went on to do in helping the Eagles go win a Super Bowl. But they're actually canceling the offseason here before season 2, right? It's just hard to tell a lot of these stories. And again, we get so much now with player podcast and with all the other content we're kind of getting out there. It's almost like we're so saturated, we're oversaturated, right, with everything that we're kind of getting. I'm just so curious why Netflix feels like we need more of this, right? Something that, like a story that I loved, or like a documentary, or something that I'm kind of trying to say here, right, is like, take the Jeremy Lin story, for example, right? It was like a decade or so, or almost a decade when they came out with it. You're like, oh yeah, this was fun. It was fun in the moment. It would be fun to relive some of these moments, to have some interesting people kind of talk about it. Maybe if there's some behind the scenes or something that I haven't seen before, I'd love to kind of check that out, right? But if I'm just getting stories about the 2024 Red Sox, no offense to them, right? Like Rafael Devers, amazing ball player. I honestly don't. You see the jersey in the back. I don't know anybody else on that team. It's just that there's just no interest for me, even as a baseball fan, right? And I think that's the thing that we have to think about in terms of sports stories. Like, there's so many great sports stories out there, especially with celebrities and with people that are super interesting. And it seems like those titles have done incredibly well. The Simone Biles, Tom Brady, even the Steve McNair story, right? Stuff that's like, oh wait, like, okay, he was interesting. Something interesting happened to them or around them. Let's now dive into that. Not, hey, let's full swing, right? Like, I don't want to. No, I'm good. So interested to hear other people's thoughts here, and if you're going to be checking out the Clubhouse surrounding the 2024 Red Sox.